to Facebook.
Hey, live
Hey,
people.
hi live stream or people watching later.
Yeah,
Let's let's go find the Technorama page. Oh, look, we're live. Share to feed. There goes my phone alert saying, "Go check out YouTube."
I got to put
Da,
had to put one more thing on my list.
For what? What you watched this week?
Yeah, I watched something today. Something I'd seen it before.
I watched lots of stuff. All right. Ready?
Sure.
I'm gonna hit the record button and wait for the thing to start recording, the counter to count. Here we go. 3, 2. Technorama episode 746. Keep calm and geek on. Hello and welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the show. If you're returning, welcome back. We appreciate you giving us your time, not our time, your time.
Yeah.
We're always here doing this on our time.
Our time is your time.
My name is Chuck Tomasi, and yours isn't.
Right?
And joining me right over there is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing good. It's hot. I got to tell you, I'm sure it's hot out there too.
It's
Hot,
really
hot
humid
everywhere.
out here too.
It's what?
We have more hot, but when the humidity starts creeping up, then it gets really nasty.
Wait a minute. Where you get the humidity from?
I don't know, but my water bottle has condensation on it. That's an anomaly around here.
Wow. Yeah, it's been hovering around the 90s. I mean, I'm sorry, right at 100. It was like 94, 96, something like that today. It's been crazy. I think it's at a peak, so we'll get a little relief this
Your
week.
100 is
So
a whole lot more miserable than my 100.
yeah, well, yeah, when you bring in that humidity, which is like a constant, around here,
Yep.
it's terrible.
Hey,
I
I was
remember.
introduced to something last weekend while I was
Mhm.
traveling and talking to my brother-in-law. Have you used what3words.com?
I have before. That's for it's like an alternative like GPS location.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
describe a location right down to like a square meter
Yes.
in 3 words. For example, when you first go to the website, they say, "Here's the New York City Hall," or one square of many,
Hmm.
and they describe it as slash slash slash. I love that. Clip.apples.leap, L-E-A-P.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna tell you my home address, but let's say we put in something like, "We'll search for the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco." Okay? And it will take us there, someplace on the bridge, oh, roughly in the middle. The location would be brick.camp.colleague. I don't think I'm gonna go to Camp Colleague this summer. It's kind of busy that time of year.
Let's see. I'm trying to. Oh, here you go. Right, literally downtown Charlotte
Yes.
is undulation.tribe.discrepancy. That's weird.
Let's
Okay.
go to Sing Sing Correctional Facility.
Whoa. Whoa, that escalated quickly.
Solar.formal.best.
Yeah.
It's what 3 words, WHAT, the number 3 words.com. So you could play around with it. I'm not
Okay.
gonna put this on my next business card or anything, but it's
Yeah.
kind of fun. And then another fun thing to do is try and guess 3 words and see if it's an actual location.
Yeah. This has actually been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
There was I think there was an initiative to try and add this to Google Maps, but I don't think they ever did it. Um
Oh, this is a way. This could be fun.
yeah, well actually it was easier. There was a reason why they did it, and it had to do with some people don't have addresses. So like in places where I'm thinking like in South America, where
Yeah.
lots of people live in the same area, and there's not an address per se, but it's like a location. It's like they can use these 3 words and pinpoint where they are within, like you said, a meter or so, or 3 meters, on the Earth. So I think that was the ultimate goal of this, but um, but yeah, it wasn't widely added because I think they said that this is a little proprietary. I was like, come on, you're talking about 3 words and you're talking about a location on the Earth. I don't know how proprietary that is, but yeah,
911, what's your emergency? I fell down and I can't get up. What's your
right.
location? Aware.dine.planet.
Okay, we'll be there in a minute.
Uh,
Yeah. Let me see what mine is.
for those that are wondering, that's a Dunkin' Donuts in New York on 43rd Street.
That's funny. All right, let's see. I don't think that's the same 3 words I remember before. I'm
For
not gonna share
what?
them on here, but
For the Dunkin' Donuts, you remember the 3 words?
no, my house. I looked it
Oh,
up. I looked it up a while back.
well, yeah, and your house is made up of lots of these little squares. It's down to, like, the square meter.
It's
So,
on a building. Well, yeah, you're right. I
yeah,
mean, you
you
move it.
you could have, 30 different things for your bedroom.
If I do the front right corner of my house, it's a different than the back corner.
Yes. So pick one that's fun.
Yeah. Well, the back one has the word joke in it, so
What if you collapsed and you're crossing squares? How would you tell them your location?
right?
I'm halfway between aware.dine.planet and resist.asking.grain.
Yeah. Here you go. Just pulling up New York rather.
Yes,
The New York City Hall is clip.apples.leap.
that's what I said at the top.
Oh, is it? Yeah,
Was the first
apples.
one
I
I
thought,
said.
yeah, I couldn't remember that. But
But
yeah,
move
that's
over
funny.
a square. You'll get a different one.
Yeah. So I mean, it's actually pretty good. But that's what it was for, was for people that didn't have for homeless people that didn't have an address, but they wanted to specify where they were at.
All right, I'm gonna take you someplace, and you're gonna type it in, and you're gonna say, Chuck, what are you doing there? Craig, what do you say we take our next vacation in? Wait for it. I gotta get there. I need to zoom out a little further. I'm in the middle of the ocean. There we are. All right. Uh,
Yes.
Craig,
Yeah.
next year we're gonna go to clearness.ceases.consultation.
Clearness, not dot what? Uh huh.
Clearness.ceases, CEASES. You have to know how to spell to do this.
Uh huh.
Dot consultation. That's where we'll have our next Technorama World Forum bash.
I'm waiting for it to load. Well, it's not. I just see it gave me the point, but didn't give me the map. Is where are we at? I can't see.
In the middle of the Sahara Desert.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I had to zoom out because there was nothing. Oh,
Right, that's the point. There's
right.
nothing there.
That's funny. Hey, so we were off for a couple weeks, right? And
Yes.
uh my family we took our son to Mexico as part of his graduation. We gave him a little trip. So we all went to Cabo, right? And so we were going out to snorkel one day. And so we go to the boat takes us out, and I'm thinking, why does this look familiar where we're at? I was like,
Because
why
you
is
were
this?
there on the Star Trek cruise
Wait a minute. So
a year earlier.
wait a minute. So like I said, I'm confused about why it's so familiar. And they literally took us to the same spot that we went on the Star Trek cruise,
Yeah,
the exact same little cove. I was like, this is exactly where we're at.
there's only so many places they'll take the tourists in Cabo.
I guess so, because I was thinking, is some of the reefs or something's protected or something, because they literally took us the same spot. And
No,
yeah,
no.
so
Hey, we got some viewers. We got Fritz saying he's sleepless in Germany. 101, everyone.
hello.
Mike is saying 89 in Iowa.
Mm,
And Lisa's out there saying, "Good evening, gentlemen. How goes it? It goes.
it goes all right.
Goes fast."
Yeah. Hope you're doing all right, Lisa.
All right. Should we begin with our listener feedback?
Yeah.
Technically, we already began.
Letters, oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day.
Oh, boy.
Mailman, mailman, mail today.
Oh, boy.
Reach right in and pull one out.
Oh, boy.
Those letters.
Oh, boy.
Those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy.
Boy, mailman, mail today.
It's a boy.
No.
Stork came left you a kid in the Amazon on the porch.
Yikes.
Our question of the week this week was, if you could create a game show for any fictional universe, what would it look like? And of course, we got some of our regulars responding in here.
Yeah.
We've got Steve London saying, why fictional? Let's do a Hunger Games, but instead of kids, let's do world leaders.
Yeah. I'm down with that. Yeah.
And if you win, you'll get a fair retirement fund and be sent off to paradise.
Yeah.
Off to a paradise island in the same manner as the Running Man. Never to be seen again. Sounds fair. Kyle Nishioka says, I'm waiting for Dungeon Crawler Carl to happen already. But on the lighter side, there's Iron Chef in the Willy Wonka factory, Hacker Jeopardy in the Tron universe,
Mhm.
and Smarter Than a Fifth Grader for Starfleet cadets / admirals. We got
That's
some
pretty good.
reactions on that one.
Yeah. Hey, my old high school buddy Scott Long, he said Hulk charades. No. You didn't get it.
You're reading a book. You're
Yeah.
smashing something. You're smashing something.
Right.
Denise Inglis says Love Island, Ariza.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, hello. John Kratzer says the dating game Stormtrooper edition.
That's what I said when I posted this, because I posted it like just a few minutes after you did. I shared it and I said,
I think you
the
did.
dating game with the clone troopers / stormtroopers. So
Yeah.
they're all exactly the same. They give you the same answer. Wow. John, that's scary that we came up with that same thing.
Yeah.
Mike says Predator versus Klingons, Tic-Tac-Toe edition. He also throws out there Thomas the Tank Engine Death Race.
Death Race.
Name that
2000.
tune Weird Al edition.
Yeah.
Naked and Afraid on Monster Island. To Catch a Predator, or maybe better yet, Child Predator versus Predator. A quiz show where the winner gets the alien larvae safely removed from their stomach. Nice. Iron Chef, How to Serve Man edition.
No. Reject. Reject.
Blob races. Contestants are put into a maze where they have to find special containers while avoiding various blob / gelatinous cube type life forms. Cure the Itch, where contestants are exposed to some sort of substance or poison ivy or steroids and set loose, or poison ivy on steroids. They're set loose into an alien forest and find some sort of natural cure. Bonus, there are also more poisonous plants and numerous carnivorous plants that can devour them.
Right.
Wow. That, I don't know of any sci-fi universe like that, but
Yeah.
I think you just made one.
He just made one.
Denise-
Denise Inglis says,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Coruscant.
I thought that already was. Gary Lindros says, guess who owns that lightsaber? Oh, he's got a whole bunch of them. Infected with an alien or not.
Yeah.
Survivor Planet. Your ship crash landed. Can you survive or even get back off the planet?
You've been voted off of the planet.
Guess who is the real Starfleet captain? Name that replicant.
Name that replicant.
Lone Guy's Night says Galactic Family Feud, first episode. The Palpatines versus the Skywalkers. We're coming back to that later in the show.
Yeah.
Ferenginar, The Price is Wrong. Take my offer to be a... That's the name of the show. Ferenginar, The Price is Wrong. Take my offer
Hey. Yeah.
to be a Jedi who wants. Very creative. I like that one. Weber Baker says weakest subspace link
Yeah.
and Batleth Jeopardy.
Right.
I didn't think we were going to get a whole lot of responses on this one.
Actually, as I was just reading Lone Guy's Night, I was thinking, let's make a deal with Ferengis.
The price is wrong.
You got to, you have to navigate the rules of acquisition to make a deal.
Quark, would you like what's behind curtain number 2 or the box that's right next to me?
I defer my investment into a.
I take both.
Oh,
How about I give you an offer of 140 gross of solid self-stealing stem bolts?
self-sealing stem bolts. Oh boy.
Yamak sauce.
Yikes.
All right, that was fun. Wait
Yeah,
till
that
we
was
come
pretty
up with the next one.
Another letter from our listener, Dave.
History time. Put on those mortar boards that you wore to college graduation.
Right.
You threw it in the air and lost your hat, just like the rest of us. On this day in history for June 26, 2024, this is where we try to sound like we know what we're doing, and artificial intelligence can do a better job pronouncing these names than we can.
Right.
This is the 178th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 188. We're almost halfway done.
No.
Week.
No.
It
I
was
haven't
on
done my Christmas shopping yet.
1886 that Henri Moissan isolated elemental fluorine for the first time. And our teeth, thank you.
Yeah. And the first Grand Prix motor race was held in Le Mans on this date in 1906.
115 years ago today, the Science Museum in London came into existence as an independent entity. Oh,
Yeah.
isn't that nice? It's no
Yeah.
longer reliant on its parent museum.
It's all by itself. And also today in 1927, the Cyclone roller coaster opened on Coney Island.
And life was never the same.
Hmm.
That same date in 1936 saw the initial flight of the Focke-Wulf FW-61. I don't know what 61 is in German. I used to know that, but I won't say it.
Yeah.
The first practical helicopter.
And 82 years ago today was the first flight of the Grumman F6F Hellcat.
It was 79 years ago today that the United Nations Charter was signed by 50 allied nations in San Francisco, California.
And William Shockley filed the original patent for the Grown junction transistor, the first bipolar junction transistor on this date in
It's
1948.
happy, it's sad. It's happy, it's sad.
Yeah.
Shockley the monkey
It's
tonight.
bipolar.
The same date in 1974, the Universal Product Code was scanned for the first time to sell a package of Wrigley's chewing gum at the Marsh Supermarket in Troy, Ohio.
I disagree. I'm sure they had to scan it to test it.
There was absolutely no product testing going on before this.
So,
No, that was
there.
the official sale.
Yeah, they just give them two things. Here, see if this works. All right. And it was also on this date in 1977 that Elvis Presley held the first concert in Indianapolis, Indiana at a Market Square Arena.
His final concert, not his first
Oh,
one.
final. I'm sorry.
In 77.
Wow.
Oh, thank you. I'll be right back.
I'm getting started. 87.
27 years ago today, J.K. Rowling published the first of her Harry Potter novel series, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, in the United Kingdom.
And it was also in this date in 2000 that the Human Genome Project announced the completion of a rough draft sequence.
It was a rough draft. That's why we need gene splicing and editing.
Who was the editor?
You have a rough draft and then you have the editor. Right.
Yeah.
Happy birthday goes out on this date to Swedish chemist and mineralogist Georg Brandt, born on this date in 1694.
And also born in June 26, 1730, French astronomer and academic Charles Messier.
Messier.
Yeah, whatever.
He's the guy who discovered the Messier object.
He was born in 1730. I don't think he cares how I pronounce his name.
It's Messier. First Baron Kelvin, Irish, Scottish physicist and engineer William Thomson, born on this date in 1824.
And Leopold Lowenheim, German mathematician and logistician, was born on the same date in 1878.
Willie Messerschmitt. Wait, we were talking about the Focke-Wulf before, and now we got the
Whoa.
Messerschmitt. Yeah, we got German airplanes all over the place.
Yes.
He was born 126 years ago today. Good on you, Willie.
And
Not
English.
Wilhelm. It's Willie. Who would name their kid Willie? 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 I have to live with this the whole life.
Yeah, I got to hear somebody yelling out, Willie, come down. It's time for dinner.
Willie, don't be a hero. Don't be a fool with your life.
English computer scientist and physicist Maurice Wilkes was born on this date in 1913.
I think it's Morris.
Maurice?
American computer
What'd I say?
scientist.
Whoa. What did I
It's
say?
It's Morris.
What did I say?
Maurice.
Maurice. There's an I in there.
Morris.
Whatever.
Pronounced. You watch the IT crowd. Boss's name is Morris.
Oh, well, okay.
And so is one of the Bee Gees. American computer scientist Robert Everett was born 103 years ago today.
And Pavel Chekhov, no,
Belyayev.
Belyayev, Soviet soldier, pilot, and cosmonaut, was born on the same date in 1925.
That's when you laugh so hard you have a Belyayev.
That's right,
American
Belyayev.
physicist and academic Nobel Prize laureate Robert Coleman Richardson was born 87 years ago today. Wow, we're going to catch up on a few birthdays and hope
All right, I'm going to nap while you do this. I'll let
music's
me know
going to
when
run out. The 15th, Miss Eliza, formerly from Winging It 3D. Joe Edmondson on the 16th. Also on the 16th, Jason from the Angry Geese. 17th, Digital Dan from the Hook Show. Luke Platypus 72 from the UK is on the 18th, along with Zion Fox. 19th is Stephen from Wichita. ASCII Adam from the Hook Show on the 21st. 22nd has Lance Heath, Jack Stevens, Chris Martinez. 25th is Mark Shepard, Jim Gookin from Philadelphia, and Patrick Norton on the 26th, along with daughter of Will the Computer Guy. 27th is Jordan Burke, daughter of Chip Burkhead from the Scotch Cast. 29th has two birthdays, Martin McKay and Gilles Laurent.
Gilles.
Giles Laurent.
Gilles.
Guy Laurent. We'll work on it until we get it, until the music runs out. Alexis Duran on the 30th, and that's the way it was on this date. Or this date in history, June 26th, 2024. Woohoo! I feel like I was just on one of those radio shows where you have to say the name of the radio station.
Yeah.
For every birthday you get done in the next 60 seconds, you get $100. Yay!
Hey,
Yeah.
Gilles is a coworker,
Of you?
sort of. Yeah,
Is that how you... Gilles?
that's what he said. He's
Laurent?
got a French name. Yeah.
Cool. Clinton says 77 outside, 86 in the studio. That's how my studio used to be.
Usually it's reversed. I think. How many times as an amateur podcaster, have we been in studios where it felt like it was 86 in the studio? Yep.
86. No, man, it felt like it was 96 in this place since I bought it. Until I put in the mini split a few years ago.
Yeah. Who clued you in on that? Let's see. Oh, it was me.
Howard?
Me.
Howard. I had numerous inputs.
All right.
All right, let's get on with the news. Random blue button.
Good news.
News, everyone.
Well, I don't know if I'd call this good news, and I'm not sure I'd call it actually news because I swear I heard this story before. 13-year-old boy built an Archimedes mythical death ray, and it may actually work. So what he did is he built a scale model and proved that it was plausible. Now, we've seen the Mythbusters attack this problem 3 times, along with MIT, who supposedly set a boat on fire but couldn't reproduce it. So it's not exactly... I don't know why we're spending so much time on this, Craig, other than it's fun to watch boats burn if you can make them burn.
Well, I think because it happened potentially so long ago, and it was such a
There's no written record of it, though. I mean, it's a story.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Okay, think of the time frame, and then if this potentially happening, it's pretty amazing to think that somebody would go, "Oh, and let's put all these mirrors and focus them on a boat."
Yeah, and then the boat just has to move.
You have to
And then
imagine
it won't get burned.
We have to imagine that's pretty amazing to think about, though.
I will admit Archimedes was a great thinker, and he came up with a lot of things like the Archimedes screw and Archimedes principle, and we use a lot of his concepts today in daily life. Don't even think about it. And I also acknowledge it's pretty cool that this boy did a science project that was
Well,
based on this.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why all the hubbub about, you know, little Johnny made something that can burn down a piece of cardboard is what he built.
I know. I think we did talk about actually, now that I think about it, I think we did talk about this story before.
Well, there
I
was
don't know.
another one about 4 years ago that
I
that
think it's fascinating to think about ancient Greece setting boats on fire when they're trying to invade. Can you imagine being on the boat and you're like, you're
Well,
trying to
first of
row, all
all,
of a sudden your boat's
yeah, it wouldn't be smoking,
spontaneously
I mean,
kind of
you'd be blinded by all the light coming at you.
no, but could you imagine your boat's bursting into flames? Like, what the?
It wouldn't burst into flames, it would warm up. It's not like instant it's on fire.
I know. You don't have to. I know
I'm
that. I'm
skeptical
saying,
something even existed.
can you
That's
imagine that
right.
happening and you're trying to row the damn thing and your boat catches on fire? Be like, wow.
The guys down below you go, "Stroke, boom, stroke, boom,
Yeah.
stroke," and all of a sudden the oars are like burnt matchsticks. Whee!
Yeah. I mean, I realize it's not like the Death Star appeared and started shooting, you know. But I'm saying, can you imagine this is something they hadn't seen before else? And they're
There's
like, why's that
there's
bright light?
Archimedes on the hillside going, "Now witness the full power of my death ray."
Yeah. Fire. That's right.
Hey, Archie, you don't need to do the voice.
That's right.
It's gonna be big someday, boys. Big, I tell you. All right, let's move on to something else that involves sunlight or
Or that
power of
actually,
the sun.
or something else that intrigues Chuck.
Real science.
Yeah.
Real science. Says that Chinese scientists have made a groundbreaking milestone in nuclear fusion, not fission. We use fission to do our nuclear power plants today, but nuclear
Yep.
fusion is the holy grail of clean energy because it is amazing stuff. They announced a major achievement in discovering an advanced magnetic field structure for the first time in the world with the Huanlu 3 or HL3 tokamak, also known as Chinese artificial sun. So this is a major step to creating fusion. You need this magnetic bottle in a sense to contain and focus the high energy plasma that can sustain a
Mhm.
fusion reaction. Although it did say later in here that the Koreans, besides the global race towards harnessing the power of the artificial sun, also continues. So it's like a space race, only it's an energy race.
Mhm.
Recently, South Korea's Korea Superconducting Tokamak Advanced Research, or K-STAR, I can say that easier.
K-Star.
Their K-STAR reactor achieved a major milestone by reaching temperatures 7 times hotter than the sun's core. That'll set your boat afire.
Yeah. Yeah. Launch that to a boat.
Here, catch the K-STAR.
Yeah. And be like, oh, hot, hot, ooh.
So that's cool. We're getting closer. I would love it
Well,
if
and I keep
if this
including these stories because we talk about how they're they're close, so they can't sustain it the magnetic containment enough. They're getting closer, and this is going to be a game changer, I think, for the world because free sustainable energy, that's a big thing. For especially for a lot of places that don't have energy, like that's plentiful and cheap.
Yep.
It's gonna be amazing.
I just thought of something.
Yes.
Remember the old gag about the solar powered flashlight?
Do what?
Remember
Oh
the
yeah,
old joke about a solar powered flashlight? I think it was like Dr. Floyd episode number 1. They had something similar, the solar powered miner's helmet.
yeah,
You go in the dark and the thing wouldn't work.
yeah. There, you know what? There was this guy. I think I've talked about this before. There was a guy in Scouts. He did this skit where the guy invented the dark sucker. So he says, "Let's turn the lights off." Turns the lights off. He turns on his flashlight. There it is. Look, it's sucking in the dark.
No, it's emitting light.
I know. It's the other way around. Dark
But
sucker. Get it?
if you had a fission reactor that made electricity and you hook that up to your solar panels, would you have an endless loop of energy?
Yeah. It's
It's as bright as the sun. That's
like
making more energy to
like
power the reactor.
like where we joked about putting two battery backup units
Yeah,
connected to each other.
yes, where you plug in 2 power strips.
Charge each other.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
So we got all the answers here on Technorama.
If you think so.
We can solve all your energy needs.
Not us. But what we do know
Yeah.
that the sun's magnetic pole is about to flip again.
Yeah.
It's part of the 11-year solar cycle, and it has to do with the solar cycle is when you go from solar minimum, you have very few, if any, sunspots, and the magnetic field is pretty stable, almost like the Earth in a north-south configuration, or south-north if you prefer, because it does flip. Now, I believe ours flips every, what is it, 50,000 years or something?
Oh, the Earth,
The
you
Earth's
mean?
magnetic field will flip.
Mhm.
Yes. I think that'll be cool. That'll confuse the heck out of everybody's phone and compass.
Wasn't this it was rumored to happen soon, I think, wasn't it? I can't remember about the Earth.
Probably not in our lifetime. But the sun flips every 11 years, 22 years?
Yeah, it
I
says
get 2
11.
different dates out of here. There's another very important, albeit lesser known cycle that encapsulates 2 11-year solar cycles known as the Hale cycle. So what happens when it flips, it's not like one day it's north and you wake up the next day and, oh, look, it's flipped around south. Because what happens when you get into solar maximum and you see lots of sunspots is the magnetic field goes from nice kind of normal North Pole, South Pole configuration to this tangled up mass of spaghetti. It's just a nasty mess. And when it starts to settle down, that's when you recognize that it's flipped. So it's almost like somebody takes a snow globe and
Right.
shakes it up every few years. And by the time it starts to settle out, the pole is reversed. Why it does this? Nobody knows.
But the sun's poles flipping shouldn't really affect us that much at all.
No, it doesn't. It
No.
absolutely doesn't. It says, what's in it for you? And why should we care? It's like there's predictions for solar strength. There's a different heading in here. What was it? How quickly does the switch occur? How does it affect us? There's no doubt that the sun has been incredibly active recently, firing out numerous powerful solar flares and CMEs, triggering strong geomagnetic storms on Earth, and which in turn have produced some incredible auroral displays of late. However, the increased severity of space weather is not the direct cause of the flip in polarity. One side effect of the magnetic field shift is slight but preliminary beneficial. It can help shield the Earth from galactic cosmic rays. So when we get to solar maximum, there's this thing called the heliospheric current sheet. There's a nice, pretty diagram in it. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, right as I was about to share screen, the big promo comes up. Subscribe to space.com. Let's go to
I can-
present screen.
Here, I
and-
can share. I can share it. Here, let me share it. Share screen.
I got it. Man. So this thing looks like a cool pattern. And then you realize the scale of it with the, hey, with the sun in the middle,
Yep.
and those waves get deeper and higher at solar maximum. And that's what's protecting us from cosmic raisin things.
I saw that coming.
Had to go there.
Looks
It's
like a
tradition.
flower.
New listeners who haven't listened to the last 10 years probably won't recognize that one.
Yeah. 10 years.
But the old time listeners are going, raisin things? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You
Yeah, it looks like a flower, doesn't it?
It does. I thought it was like, what are we looking at here? And then I went, oh, there's planets on there. Holy smokes. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. So a lot of fun things. All right. Should we get into the hacks and strange stories?
Yeah.
We have some strange ones
All right.
here for you today.
Now this one I was a little worried that this was fake or something, but go ahead.
No, it's for reals. And I started out watching the video at the beginning.
Mhm.
Very noble effort. We're going to bring connectivity to the remote areas in the Amazon using Starlink.
We're
And
gonna save them. Yay.
get these people. Well, we're going to help the tribes that live, a half a day's journey apart from each other
Uh-huh.
to work closely and communicate and, be a community. And then they can communicate with the outside world and tell us what it's like. Very noble effort until they realized that they're falling into the same stupid trap that the white people and the rest of the world already know it's a freaking waste of time to be on the internet.
Hmm.
Their tribes, what were the name of the people? The Morabi? Murobo? Marubo.
Marubo.
The Marubo tribe. This is the one they centered on. About 2,000 people. They bring them Starlink, they get them hooked up, and what do? Instead of going out and hunting and fishing and feeding the community,
They
they
just
sit
order
around
their
on
food
their
off Amazon.
phones all afternoon.
Oh, look, DoorDash. Let's see what
So
I
the
want. What I want for dinner.
I heard it from Sao Paulo. It'll be here in about 2 weeks. Eh, they feel like they're losing their culture because of this. So once again, with good intention, this has happened in history over and over and over again. Look, if we show you how to farm, then you'll be more prosperous. Like, but that's not what our culture was based on,
Right.
and we're losing the culture. It's an interesting, very historic pattern that we should have seen coming. You ask them, here's what it's about. Do you want it? Would you like to try it? And then they can decide, no, we don't. And we can respect that. But it doesn't look like we're given much of a choice. Now, they did say there are benefits to this, but they're also seeing, yeah, it's not quite
You know,
working out.
I actually see this as a reflection of ourselves, to be honest with you. Because you go, oh, look, we're going to help these people. And you provide them with Starlink and stuff, and they fall into the same social traps that we
Well,
have today. Huh?
yeah, exactly. Same kind of thing hundreds of years ago. Hey, you'll be better off if we give you guns.
Yeah. Well, here's the quote that really sells the whole thing for me. Everyone is so connected that sometimes they don't even talk to their own family.
Right. I've seen an entire family sitting around at the dinner table with
Yeah.
their noses in their phones.
Now, I will say in the last 2 or 3 years, I've made a concerted effort and not even pulling my phone out of my pocket if I'm at dinner, or especially we're out to dinner or anything like that. Because I trying to be present,
Right.
and that's just kind of underscores the whole point of that is they don't even talk to their own family.
Yep.
So, yeah, technology is great, and I think Starlink's awesome, but yeah, I don't know. Is it really saving lives or changing their lives for the better? I don't know.
If you remember, we're still in the first generation of a lot of this stuff. So we're learning as we go.
First
When
generation of what?
first the first generation of like kids growing up with the internet and having cell phones and going to school and social media and getting
First,
yeah,
I think that's been going on for a while.
Craig, kids have not had cell phones for more than 15 years.
Mm, no, but they've had the internet and all that connectivity since they were born. Harrison's been on the internet
Right. And
for
how does he have kids yet? No. We're still in the first generation.
generate. Well,
That's why I said we're in the first
so the internet came
generation
around.
of people learning to use this stuff. It's going to be interesting to see in the next generation or two. It's a lot like keep your hands off your
I know.
microphone. Yeah, the listener is really enjoying that occasional
Yeah, I'm gonna start
bob
beatboxing.
to the eardrum.
All right, stop.
Anyway, let's move on. We have another one of these mysterious monoliths appearing. We talked about these a while ago. I think
Yeah, we did.
appearing in California and Utah and even somewhere in Europe, I think. So
Wasn't there one in Czechoslovakia or
I said Europe, so I was close enough.
okay?
This one appeared near Gas Peak, a hiking area in Nevada, just north of Las Vegas. There, you gonna drop that picture on them? There,
Yeah, sure. Okay, there you go.
there it is. I think this looks cool. Very shiny.
Oh, it does look cool.
What do you suspect this is all about? And
Well,
don't
if I'm
say-
not mistaken, the last one was just a structure that somebody had put in place, but I don't think they ever said who it was. I don't know what it's about, other than to get people talking about what is this.
I
You
think
know,
it's artistic, but there was one they
Yeah.
said it didn't look like anybody dug a hole.
right? It just looked like it just landed or something, or just in the ground. I don't know what this is other than some. Again, I think it's probably somebody's project to get people talking about
Yeah.
this art installation.
It feels like a Banksy kind of thing.
Exactly.
Nobody knows
Yes.
who Banksy is or has ever seen their work being done. This feels like a similar kind of thing.
Exactly. I would say
Crop
the same thing.
circles of the 2020s.
Hey, this one's near you. Just go.
I'm not going up there to see that.
I would.
Not in the summer heat in
I
Nevada
mean,
and
it'd be cool
Arizona.
to see. Would it
Yeah,
not be cool to
it's
see?
hiking.
No, wouldn't it be cool to see in person though? Yeah,
Bring me closer. If one showed up on Lookout Mountain, I'd be all over it.
look at him. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool, but I don't know exactly the point other than some kind of art installation thing.
They didn't really give any dimensions to this thing. Like how high? How big? It's a square
I think
metallic
it's
looking thing or polished steel?
yeah, it was about the height about two people or so. I guess maybe a little more, maybe so by 10, 12,
So
15 feet.
3, maybe 4 meters high and what, about a meter square?
Yeah, we deal in feet here.
No, I'm working with the rest of the world.
The rest of the world.
I'm going with the
Good
majority
news
on
for
this
you.
one,
The whole
Craig.
world uses a mix of everything.
I'm going with the majority on it. What, a cubit? What do you want?
A cubit. No.
That's how they're measuring the sub-electron things now.
Yeah, I think it's about 15 feet tall. So I was taking a guess.
It gave no scale because there's a city way out in the background. I mean, it looks taller than
You can-
taller than the stratosphere because
yeah.
of first perspective. I don't know.
Okay, so the Utah monolith, it said was about 3 meters high.
Okay.
Okay, there it is. 3 meters high. It was about 10 foot tall, 9.8 feet. That was the one we talked about a while back.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Alrighty,
Yeah.
quick shout out to the chat room while they're here. We mentioned some earlier. Fritz, Mike, Lisa, and Clinton are joining us online. We'd love to have you around on 8:30 Sunday nights, 8:30 Eastern time. If you can join us. I know that Fritz was up crazy late, but we try to accommodate.
Yeah.
So join us. We can have a live chat. You can tell us everything that's wrong with what we're saying.
Yeah, there's plenty, I'm sure.
I'm sure there is, or your opinion on what these monoliths are all about.
Yeah. What do you think they're about?
I told you what I already
Not
told.
you. I'm asking the listener.
Gotcha. Sometimes you don't listen and you ask me what I already told you.
I know what you told me.
Okay. Let's do a quick remember when. It's a remember when of what the web looked like in 1994. I remember I was there.
I was too.
I helped set up one of those first few hundred web servers.
Yep.
And I think I had more fun. This is a very, very long article, but has lots of great screen captures of old versions of Netscape, and the web pages before there were tables.
Oh gosh.
When
Tables,
you were
yeah.
dialing in at 14.4 or maybe 28.8 later on,
Yeah.
when we called index files welcome.html, either with a
Actually-
capital W, a lowercase w.
Actually, looking at some of these screenshots
Yeah.
makes me want to go back in time to get my web pages like this because now they've got a bunch of ads and pop-ups and it's almost impossible to read.
I was also looking at the different what they called the throbber. While a web page was loading, the Netscape logo would like move.
Oh yeah. Yep.
They had the boring N. They had the Starfield one. They had one with little squares that would rotate around.
Yeah.
It was and for whatever reason, my one quip with this article is that they could not spell NCSA, the National Center.
Oh, they mess it wrong? They do it wrong?
Yes, even right after they defined it. National
The internet doesn't have editors,
National
man.
Center for Supercomputer Applications. Then in parentheses, they put NSCA. Like 3 times later in the article. They got it right once,
That's pretty funny.
but most of the time it's NSCA. Like that. No. let's see, NSCA could be the National Strength and Conditioning Association, the National Sporting Clays Association. Like, no.
You know, I don't know about you, but looking, when I'm about that time frame, trying to look up things, I thought, oh, this is awesome, and you start imagining you can look up anything. But there were at this point, there
No.
were times when you go to look up something or try and find something and it didn't exist yet.
Well, it either didn't exist yet or you didn't really search. There was no search. Yahoo was
No,
and
yeah,
Alta Vista, they're all categorically thing. This this
yeah.
this Yahoo page is comical
Oh,
from
the directory,
1994. Yeah. It's
yeah.
arts, 466 entries. Business, 6426. What do we have the most of here? I think it was business. Science, 26.
Regional
And all of
information.
them have a little yellow new tag next to them.
Yeah, all of them. Well, what I was getting at is, you would think, oh, I should be able to find uh how to oil my ice skates. I'm just saying, and you go looking for some, and maybe some of those things did, didn't exist, but now it's comical to think that those things didn't exist, and now you can pretty much find whatever you want online with no problem.
Do you actually oil ice skates? I guess you do.
I don't know.
I looked it up and it says skatepro.com says use acid-free oil. Lubricate the blade with a thin layer of acid-free oil for long-term storage to avoid any
See,
rust development.
you wouldn't have found that in '94.
I thought you were making things up like underwater basket weaving.
Well, I've never tried it, but you get what I'm saying. I thought it was a fun time, and I think
The
back in that
Microsoft
time,
I mean, these are comical when you think about it.
yeah.
Here's a picture of the server and the webmaster here at Microsoft. It's got a dude standing next to a rack.
Oh yeah. It's like, yeah.
Clicking on the image will download the larger JPEG image. We are sending JPEG images with the MIME type / subtype of image / JPEG. Who cares?
Yeah. Hey, this was a fun time on the internet though, because as you
Oh, there
were
was a
able
lot
to,
of creativity.
yeah, creativity, you got to see things evolve. Like look at the Yahoo thing. It had a
Oh, like
directory.
week to week.
Yeah,
I
it was
like the
really
Pizza
cool.
Hut site. Remember you could order a pizza online, and
Mhm.
there's an SCO, the Santa Cruz operation. They had
Right.
SCO logo on the page.
Hey, around the same time, I think see, I got my first computer for the internet probably around that 94, 95 time frame because of the internet. And so I ended up finding out that IRC, IRC was so much fun. You could go, there's servers all over the place, and you could go start chatting with people. Um, I messed with Usenet some, but it kind of got trashy after a while, So
I messed with using it before it was, way before 93, like in 86.
yeah.
That was valuable stuff. We even used it on our bulletin board because we run a Unix-based bulletin board system. We use UUCP to get the stuff in and out. It
Mhm.
was probably the craziest thing I remember trying to. I would see some of these things and then try to implement them and go, how can I use that in our business? How can I use that in my own personal homepage? Because we would let our employees set up like their own personal homepages if they wanted to.
Mhm.
And one of the coolest things I remember in the early days was clickable image maps, where you could have this sort of montage of images in it was one JPEG. So it would load
Yeah.
faster than seeing, 27 little images sort of draw on the
And you
screen.
map out what sections go to where.
Yes. And you said, from 00 to 100 was if you clicked that area somewhere in that
Mhm.
rectangle, you could define a URL that it would take you to. So I thought that was neat.
How many, how many image maps do you see today? 0.
I don't know. Maybe they're there and we don't
I,
know.
I think it's gone the way of the blink tag. I don't know.
The frame.
Yeah. Right. Well, we use frames all over the place.
Not the old frames.
No, the iframes we do.
Yeah,
But
iframes, yes, which you're not
yeah,
supposed to
but
do
no,
it.
this is such a fun time because everything was evolving
There was no
quickly.
CSS. I remember that because
Oh,
when I started
yeah.
writing my ticketing system, all the styles were hard
I
coded.
don't think CSS are showing up till
About
closer to
90 the article
2000.
said about 96.
Yeah.
It was proposed in, like, late '94, but it didn't get defined
It's
as a
because the
standard.
browsers weren't being updated very often. So anything they implement would be
Yeah, they
like,
were. Think of how many versions of Netscape there were in those
no, no,
first few
no. I
years.
mean, like, I'm saying that at that time, trying to get mass people to update all their browsers and then support something, it was a lot longer of a slog than it is today. I got
Ah,
Chrome
I
updates.
flipped a whole bunch of Unix systems and Windows systems from
I'm talking about,
Mosaic to Netscape
yeah.
pretty much overnight, and then I would continue to upgrade them on a
All
regular
right.
basis. I
Well,
had
good,
that thing all
good for you. But I'm talking about the internet as a whole. You're going, hey, you get this new version of Netscape. It would take a while to get those people. Like, we got app updates as a push service now. So back then there wasn't. So getting everybody to upgrade and start supporting these new tags was a slow slog. I think lot more than today. Because I mean, I've gotten 3 updates from Chrome this week.
Well,
You know,
it was a long time. You kind of if you fast forward about 10 years, you
yeah,
had apps that were, like, coded for Internet Explorer, and they wouldn't work on anything. Now you have to have multiple browsers. So if you're
yeah.
gonna run this app, you had to run IE 5 or 6 or whatever it was, and the rest of the world has moved on, but
I
these apps are still tied to, like, "Please let us upgrade. We have
Hey,
security
wait.
goals."
Actually, IE was the problem with people with
Oh, yeah.
pushing these things out because they didn't upgrade They didn't change from to like IE6 was when they started making updates again. I mean, it was like years before they were making updates, and they were the biggest browser out there because it was the default in Windows.
'Cause it came
Now,
free. Everybody had it.
yeah, and so now today it's a different story, but which is
Check
good
this
for
out.
the internet.
Slice of Sci-Fi has left us a message.
What?
I was at the Usenix Sage conference in October 1994, a few months after Berners-Lee came out with the HTTP
Oh,
protocol.
nice.
Yeah, we set up our first server at Plexus in, I wanna say, late '93.
Right.
The pain of registering a domain. Let's say,
Oh,
I
yeah.
called
Back
the
then,
colleague to download
hey,
the source code so I could remote in and start compiling it.
hey. So today I could register a domain in like 2 minutes,
I know.
and before back in the day, it was like, where do I go to start this
How
process?
do you get on the internet was one of the hardest questions. You had to know somebody who knew somebody. And
Well, that's just hey, by the way, that's just the way I started. So I
Yep.
I worked at a computer company where we're building computers all day long, and I bought one for myself, built it to
We're
get
going,
online.
"Get off my
And
lawn." Yes, we are.
so my one of my friends knew a guy in town, and it wasn't the phone company, it was a independent ISP. And they Jeff came over and got me online. And then a few years after that, I had my own ISP, and I was piggybacking
Yep.
off of their service. So yeah,
There was a point in my career where I had to decide, do I wanna keep going with, dial-up services and possibly evolve into an ISP or stick with my day job? And
yeah,
it was a tough decision, but I saw what had happened to a local, uh, company that was going through the same thing. They had similar to you, they had the bank of modems and whatnot, and then
yeah.
when, um, the local cable company and phone companies got involved, like, you can't compete with that. So
Well, we did for a while. The only problem is, the phone company started saying, "Hey, if you sign up with us, you get a free phone line, an extra
yeah,
phone
because it
line."
was $50 a month for their minimum dial
Well, they were
service.
giving away free phone line, an extra phone line. I was like, "Well, that's wonderful, but I can't do that." So I was,
Right.
yeah, it's a whole thing. But yeah, a few years after this, 3, 4 years, we were putting together our own ISP after '94. It was pretty awesome. So I had a good time doing it. I learned a lot.
Oh, man, I just
Yeah,
looked at the
yeah.
clock. We gotta wrap this up, and we got a lot more to
Ooh,
go.
all
So,
right.
that's the end of Remember When. Real quick in the media corner, let's, play this real fast. There.
We could have talked about the beginning of the internet all day long.
So, in the media corner, we have an article: Star Citizen player remakes the entire first Star Wars movie in game. I started watching this because I was curious. I'm not a Star Citizen player. I don't play many online games, but I was fascinated, and they did
Mhm.
a pretty decent job. I'm sure if you are a Star Citizen player, you'll find this more enthralling than I did. Very creative, very difficult, and I applaud them for their effort. What they say, like 3,000 hours of labor of love kind of work.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
50 people doing voiceovers. I didn't really catch a lot of the audio. It sounded like somebody just playing a game, talking to each other, because it is a big MMORPG. But good on them. All right, pass me the
Hey,
remote. We're gonna
by
rip
the way, you know what this
your house.
reminded me of was
What?
I'll tell you a second.
What does it remind you of?
Remember that server a long time ago you could uh telnet into and watch Star Wars and ASCII?
ASCII Star Wars. It's done. They finally finished it. I mean, when we started back in whatever we were just talking about in the mid 90s,
Yeah,
it was maybe the first 10 seconds.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah, no, there's still, if you go look up ASCII Star Wars, you will see the whole thing. You don't telnet anymore. Nobody should telnet to anything anymore.
No, not really. Don't do that.
SSH, people, SSH. All right, we're gonna go through some quick movies and TV shows and whatnot that we've been watching the last couple of weeks. I've listed a bunch of my highlighted YouTube videos, mostly around history, fascinating stuff in the geek library. So let's get started. Go ahead, Craig. Go
All
one,
right. So
two, three, right through them all.
are you may do all three?
Yeah,
Okay. So the first one was Remembering Gene Wilder.
I saw that come up, and it's on my wish list of things to watch.
I wouldn't say it, it highlighted anything new that I didn't know, but it was really nice to walk through his career,
Mhm.
early life, and post career life. I enjoyed it. I love Gene Wilder.
We mainly know him from his work with Mel Brooks, but he did some other stuff too.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of other
Yeah.
stuff in there, but a lot of it you'll go, oh, with Richard Pryor. I mean, for crying out loud. So definitely go watch that. It was a nice walk through, his career, and it was just fun. I enjoyed it. The second one, I'm a huge Ultraman fan. I used to watch it, when I came home from school, um, long in the 70s.
Just like Shane from Jimmy Neutron.
Huh?
I can't think
Shane?
of Ultraman without thinking of Shane.
Oh,
Ultralord!
oh yeah. Oh, I welcome our future overlords. Anyway, so Ultraman, I could go through the whole backstory of Ultraman, but this one's a slightly different take on it. It's more of I'd say almost a more of an American take on Ultraman, but it was kind of cute, had a lot of heart. I enjoyed the story. You could tell it was kind of striking that line between being uh, entertaining for kids and adults, and I thought it was pretty good. And I saw that um, the filmmaker said that he had plans for two more in this series, so we'll see if those get made. So
Cool.
if you
And
like
finally,
Ultraman, I think you'd enjoy it. Uh, it was fun. And today again, I watched this several times, but I watched the iRobot movie with Will Smith. That came out in 2004, I think it was.
yeah.
And I did enjoy that movie. So I think it got decent Rotten Tomatoes score. So I looked it up today and I saw,
An
oh, it's on.
oxymoron, a decent Rotten Tomato.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I enjoyed the movie enough. I wanted to go watch it, and I did. And I watched it again, and I like it a lot. So it's free on Tubi, so you can watch it.
All right. I've got a couple here as well. I watched on Disney Plus, Nat Geo, if you will, because it was, they have multiple things on there. Cult Massacre, One Day in Jonestown. This is the epic thing from November 18th, 1977, where Jim Jones and his followers, there was a mass suicide, which they're now calling a mass murder, by the way.
Hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
they had some of the survivors on the show. They were going through kind of a cut back and forth between the survivors telling their story, including his son, who was about 17, 18 at the time.
Wait, survivors? They actually drank the stuff and survived?
No,
They
no,
didn't.
they were not there.
Oh, okay.
They either fled into the jungle and survived, or in the case of his son, he was, like, out of town. He was on a
That was
errand
convenient.
or something somewhere. I mean, some of these
Wow.
stories are just heartbreaking.
Right.
The There was one guy who was, as he said, um, Jim Jones didn't really care for the US government. There was no secret about that.
Mhm.
I didn't know there was a second plane at the airstrip, when Congressman Leo Ryan and some of the other people were shot. A lot of things that I didn't that really well detailed and a lot of footage,
Wow.
lot of video footage that, was very impressive for the day. The, so if you like historic things, you want a good close-up look, you will probably never, ever, ever say it, and I try not to do this either, is say, "Oh, so and so drank the Kool-Aid," meaning they're a fan of something. That
Yeah,
is
yeah,
really tasteless because a lot of
yeah.
people did lose their lives with that. I prefer to say if they're a fan of something, they drank the champagne. So try using that in the future. I know it's a cultural, a
Or
pop
he's the
culture.
dog food.
Well,
That's eating your own dog food, I
I
think.
don't want to eat anybody's dog food. The other one is from Netflix called Mysteries of the Terracotta Warriors. You're
Hey,
familiar?
wait.
Yes.
Terracotta Warriors, are those people that put your roof on?
No, they make it's the cheese you put in lasagna right under the ricotta,
Oh,
the
ter
terracotta.
terracotta.
So the terracotta warriors, of course, are all these statues that were found with the first emperor of China in his burial ground. There's some other stuff hanging around, and they explain why they were smashed. There's lots of evidence that they're uncovering. They found these in what was it, 74 is when they were first
Oh,
uncovered,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it can take up to 3 years to assemble one of these warriors. It's like there's a lot of work going on, and the 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 burial ground is massive. What they say, like 60 square kilometers? It's just huge. It's you're used to seeing there's this hill and there's some terracotta warriors that were buried nearby. Like, nah, they found another grave recently that they haven't figured out who it is, but they figured it could be one of his sons who was in line to uh, for succession. This whole thing was just a scam of how the emperor died and who was next in line to succeed. And some of
Right.
the leaders, it was really, really fascinating, the whole story about this. So I recommend it. Also, along the history vein, I watched on Netflix Hitler and the Nazis, Evil on Trial. They go through the Nuremberg trials, but they also jump back and forth from that to the rise of the Nazi party. I mean, they go
Mm.
back to when Hitler was a little boy and bring that all forward. Uh, Very, very fascinating stuff. Again, lots of audio from the Nuremberg trials.
Right.
In some cases, they have video footage. Where they don't, they substitute actors. Um, and they got some pretty close looking people. Hitler was a little off. Obviously nobody could look just like Hitler.
I think everybody agrees with you, Hitler was a little off.
Yeah, he was the actor portraying was not an
Oh, the
exact
actor, I'm
match.
sorry, okay.
Yeah. There was not an exact match, but it was, very fascinating. Um, I must be an old man because 'cause I'm watching lots of historical stuff. And
That's
then I
good.
finally got to go back and
Speaking of
watch,
historical,
yeah, the final episode, episode 9, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
yeah,
And I enjoyed it very much. Did think it dragged a little bit in certain spots, but, I also thought this was one of the more powerful emotions ones that they came out with. Like, when Chewie breaks down and cries, "Oh, spoiler alert, Leia dies,"
oh, yeah.
and then Chewie just collapses, like, "Whoa!" That's I mean, that
Yeah.
was heartfelt.
Well, it
Or
was heartfelt
or
because
when,
in the
um
previous film,
yeah,
Han dies,
yes.
or earlier on, and he walks right by Leah, and she doesn't give him a hug or anything, just she walks on by.
Who what
People were
was
like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, wouldn't he be heartbroken? He's been hanging out with this guy for
What
however
was the
long."
name of that short lady with the goggles, the character?
Yeah,
I can't remember her name, but,
yeah.
when she gave the medal to Chewie, that was another moment like, "Oh, that is so cool." And then, of course, the final scene when this lady on,
Hey,
Tatooine says, you know, what's your name? And she says, Ray. And she says, Ray what? And she's debating whether to say Ray Palpatine. And then she sees the Force ghosts
Oh
of
yeah,
Leia. She goes, Ray Skywalker. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that was as cool as the moment when in um uh the Han Solo series at the end when he walks up to Luke and he says, well, hello there.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
oh, you just get that warm fuzzy
Obi-Wan series.
Obi-Wan. That's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, when the significance of Chewie getting that medal, in A New Hope, they didn't give him a medal.
I thought he did.
Nope.
I thought everybody got one.
No. Han and Luke did.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So he finally got his. That's why. Okay. Yeah, I forgot it was in my bottom drawer all these years.
Right. Yeah. There's a picture of him. Han and Luke has it, and Chewie standing there with his
Gotcha.
little bandolero thing, and that's it.
Oh man.
He got robbed, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Oh, we don't need to give the dog
Okay.
a medal.
I've got a few things in the Geek Library. I want to call out one of the ones in the Geek Library that I came across. This is from one of my YouTube channels. The Computerland, the computer that didn't save Computerland. This is about the Computerland BC286. You can probably guess what class of machine it is by the name.
It's a 486 machine.
They had an earlier one called the BC88. So obviously one's based on the 8088. It was their PC clone, and the 286 was the AT clone. And this guy gets it and is taking it apart. Obviously, it doesn't fire up. His power supply was dead, but he swapped it out because the BC 88 and 286 were basically a power supply, a case, and a backplane. Okay. And you put in the 8088 card or the 286 card, and then the video and everything else.
Let's see. Okay.
He was able to get it up and running. It had the original Computerland screen, but it had some sort of glitch in it. He said if you tap it at this like dark spot where it wouldn't light up any pixels, and if you tap it, it would either kind of work or move. Like, all right, this sounds fun. I wrote him a comment on YouTube. I said, thank you so much. I used to be a service technician at a Computerland. Thanks for bringing back the memories. He goes, oh, now here's the fun part. If you didn't already see the video on the scandal about Miniscribe. Miniscribe made hard drives.
Yes.
They were a hard drive manufacturer like Seagate, Western Digital. They were around back then,
Yeah,
but they survived.
I remember seeing them as popular as Seagate or Western Digital was.
Yes. We used to call them mini scrapes because they were so noisy.
Right.
But there was a huge
I
scandal.
forgot about that.
Oh, he fires this thing up and it makes a noise like I haven't heard in 5 years.
Right.
Like, oh, and he had to get that working because the stepper motor wasn't stepping at all. But he said, oh, I was just watching Adrian's Basement. He got it working with this Triflow oil. So he got it working just by lubricating the bearings and spindle again. So Miniscribe had a huge scandal where they weren't making their numbers, so they were faking it. And they were literally shipping bricks, pallets of bricks to say, yep, we sent out hard drives.
Oh, come on.
It's a great story. I don't know how I missed this when it happened, but
Wow.
it was fun to relive that. And he said Computerland had a similar issue with financial fallout and whatnot in the mid 90s. I had long been gone from our store.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm curious. I want to talk to people who were around at that time. I said, I was only working at the store from 85 to 87 as a service technician. Had a great time. It was run by a friend of ours. We were given some wide latitude. We ran an electronic bulletin board system. So it was, I gave him a little something to chew on, but it was kind of intriguing to, interact with the guy running this YouTube channel and see the old computer that we used to work on.
Oh yeah.
There's another one in here real quick. I want to give a shout out. It's a short called "You'll Always Look for This When You Drive Now." He said, here's a sign from I-75 in Tampa. Here's a sign from I-75 before you get to Detroit. And I looked at him and I could not tell the difference until he pointed out they changed the fonts on the international highway system in the US.
Oh, really?
So what you see mainly in the South is a font called what is it? Interstate Gothic. I think it's got a really and the other one is
Uh-huh.
called Clearview, and it's
Oh,
actually a little clearer. When you compare the 2, you're like, "Oh, yeah. They did change the font." So, it's a fascinating,
does your car still recognize the signs? Because
as
I,
you
you know,
it's not
my
like
car actually
a
reads the
it reads the speed
signs.
limit signs,
Yeah, and it's as I'm saying. I wonder if it.
not the road signs. They didn't change the speed limit signs. They changed
Okay.
the green and white signs to
Oh,
say
oh, those. Okay, got you.
yeah,
Got
those.
you.
So, interesting stuff, interesting stuff.
Hey,
A
by
lot
the
of other
way,
stuff that I threw in here that you might find interesting. The iPad before the iPad, Apple had a lot of projects that were way ahead of their time. I'm not this is
oh
not
yeah,
the Newton. They had a couple of others that were before the Newton.
yeah. Hey, by the way, there's one guy that you. I'm trying to remember if you clued me into this guy. Usagi Electric. That's the YouTube channel.
Oh,
Anyway,
the guy with the yes, with
and
the
he's talking about MFM and RLL.
uh-huh,
Uh,
I saw that video. I hadn't had a chance to watch it. It said FM is MFM and RLL is MFM.
yeah,
Was the
yeah.
title of the video. I'm like, I had to read
Right.
that 3 times and go, "What is he
I
talking about?"
did.
Now I
I did.
really wanna watch it.
I think I've seen like 3 minutes of it. I because every time I started watching it, I had to stop and do something else.
This is the guy that gets up to his elbows both technically and physically in these
Yeah.
things.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Great stuff on these really old mini
I
computers.
like how he's booting the computer. He's I'm gonna boot the computer while I'm talking, and he's still talking, and it's still booting.
Yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah. All right,
First, you
let's
gotta
get out of
spend
here.
about 2 minutes getting that 5 meg hard drive up to speed.
Yeah. Here you go. A few comments real quick. I see. Chewy didn't collect enough Rebel Brownie points. Slice of Sci-Fi. I registered my first domain when they were still free. That's right, they
I
were free
think
for a
they
while.
were free, yeah.
Um,
You had to go to the ICANN. Uh, that sounds like you have to run to the bathroom.
oh, Clinton says he preferred to ice his oil skates.
Instead of oil as ice skates. All
Yeah,
right. Thanks for hanging out with everybody. Great comments. Much appreciated. Hope we can do that again next week. You can be around next week for the 4th of July weekend. Yes.
sure. Why not?
Okay. Then we'll do this on the 7th. We'll record on the 7th and that'll go out on the 10th. So, no, no, we still have the first week. Okay. The 3rd. It'll go out on the 3rd. We'll figure this out. If podcasting wasn't confusing enough and time zones
Yeah.
weren't
The 4th is
frustrating
on a
enough.
Thursday, so yeah.
Yep. 4th is on Thursday, so it'll go on the 3rd. I skipped a week. We will be around next week.
Hey, you only
Yes.
have so many weeks left in life. Don't rush it.
Phew. No kidding. All right. If you want to get a hold of us, you can call us on the listener line 707-530-chat. I think our Star Trek number is cooler. No, I gotta get a new one for this one.
Yeah.
707-530-chat. Haven't heard from you in a while. Craig, you gotta put the banner up. That's your
Oh, is
cue.
that my cue?
That's your
Okay.
cue when we start talking about how to get in touch with us.
The birthday banner? No.
Techdrama@chuckchat.com. No,
Sundays? No. Oh, there you go.
now he's just screwing around.
Yeah.
Or email us, technorama@chuckchat.com. Many of you have. We greatly appreciate it. We did not do the patrons. Shame on us. Let's do that real quick. Can't get away with it. That's like
I thought you were
Chewy
trying to
without
rush
his
the
medal.
show. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything.
Wow, that was just like Chewy without a medal. Everybody here should get a medal, including
Except for
Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Avner Braverman. It's a good thing you put up the wrong banners. I would have totally missed that. Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC, Dandy Manquire, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros, John Clifford, John Noble, Jorga Schrauen. Crazy Joe is back at the $2 level. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, we really appreciate that. Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Brad Miller, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook. They all went to patreon.com/Technorama podcast. Now you can put that banner up. He's looking. There it is. All right. We got that. And now we can get on out of here. What they did is they went to patreon.com/Technorama podcast for as little as $1 a show. They thought this show had some entertainment value or educational value, or maybe they just felt sorry for us.
They're misled.
They clicked the link. They fell into the honeypot.
That's right.
and we now have their information. So we're going to share it with. No, we're not going to do that. That's very much appreciated. We're going to get on it here. Where's the music? There it is. Thank you to everybody. Again, if you want to get in touch with us, 707-530-2428. People on the video can watch that. If you're listening to it in the background, flip over to the browser tab. You're going to miss it. Technorama.chuckchat.com is also there. Yes, I'm talking to you. I know you're listening and you're not watching. There's not much to watch, but there's something on the screen you need to look at right now. Right now. Oh, you missed it.
Did I miss it? Oh,
No. Thank you, Craig, for all the news stories. Thank you, listeners and viewers, for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. This has been episode 746 of Technorama. Join us next week for the exciting conclusion or continuation of our story called, unsurprisingly, episode 747.
yeah. Beautiful title, isn't it?
Till next time, give us a great big binary high five, Craig.
All right. 101.
Little long on that one. Hour 15. That's all right. Yeah, like you said, we could talk about the old internet all day long. All right, we're going to go
gosh.
record our Patreon show. We got a couple of topics. I got a couple of topics that I came up with over the last couple of
Yeah.
weeks
I saw that.
that I'd like to share. And unfortunately, we can't broadcast that. Otherwise, it wouldn't be value to the listeners.
Well, we think it is.
You can join us if you want. Just got to be a patron, and we'll get you that magic RSS link. Thank you, everybody. Oh, question of the week. We forgot the question of the week. If you discovered an alien civilization besides language, how would you try and communicate with them? I got two.
ASL.
Math and
Math.
music.
Math
Because
and
music
music.
is mathematical anyway, so it kind of falls into that.
You know what I was thinking of when I came up with that question? I was thinking of that movie, not Contact, but the Arrival. You know, where they were trying to understand the language.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I think they understood that one.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
he just died. Donald Sutherland
Yes, he did. Yep.
at 88. So
Yep.
rest in peace. Okay. You guys need better show notes.
What?
It's right there on the screen. We just weren't paying attention. We were all over the place.
Well, we kind of ran long. Actually, we were
Ants.
running long. Wait a minute. We were running long. And then Chuck says, "Oh, we need to get out of here." So you skipped ahead.
yeah, I
And
did.
I thought, okay, we're going to skip the Patreon. So I didn't say anything. And then you go, "Oh, we forgot that." I was like, okay, I should have said something maybe.
We're not leaving Chewie without a medal.
Yeah.
There we are. As flawless as ever. There, we should have a screenshot. That was it.
That's right.
All right. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.